coming straight from the cockpit. It's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go. All right, back in the can for another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void. And I love these episodes because the one and only Cola from Blue Skies Magazine sets me up with the coolest fucking people to talk to. So, with no further ado, who the fuck are you and what do you do?
Hey, Dean. My name is William Lux. A lot of people also know me as Big Daddy Whizzle, I guess. But I'm just a really avid fun jumper. I fly a lot of video and do a lot of one-on-one free fly coaching when I can.
Cool.
But,
the Big Daddy Whizzo, we're definitely going to have to come back to. This I want to hear about. I like that. Well, now, so you say you're an avid fun jumper and you do a lot of coaching and stuff. Are you working in the sport or do you have a real job as well?
Well, I have a real job. I lay pipe for a living, pretty much. I'm a union pipe fitter. I'm a craftsman. I mainly just weld for like heavy American industry.
Okay.
But so I work like half the year and skydive half the year. That's the balance I try to obtain, you know?
Well, nice. Well, I like the fact that your job title is you lay pipe. That's
what everybody wants to say. I try to explain to them what my actual job is, but everyone just says I lay pipe.
You lay pipe. Hey, fair enough, man. I mean, it sounds kind of cool either way you sound it out. I like it. So you kind of you split the, where are you in the United States?
So, I really don't have an actual home. Like, I'm from Florida, and I'm out of a union hall in Florida. But right now, I'm currently in Garrettsville, Ohio. I live at Cleveland Skydiving Center, actually.
Okay.
Which is a phenomenal drop zone.
But it's definitely a seasonal drop zone. So, are most of the places that you jump seasonal?
Not necessarily. So when the winter comes, I mean, sometimes I end up working in the winter and then, but my jobs don't last like terribly long. Usually they're a few months at a time, but I tend to make it down south.
Oh, nice.
I go to Z Hills every winter most of the time just because I grew up around there. It's my home drop zone, like my original home drop zone. My parents only live like a half an hour away.
Oh, nice.
So
how did the whole sport? Well, not necessarily just the sport. How did anything extreme start for you? Because Cola said you've got some good stories, so I assume they started young.
Yeah, I was a pretty bad child actually. I was out on my own pretty early, and I was really reckless, But it all pretty much started with motorcycle racing. I used to be stupid, man. I used to just run from the cops, like just for fun all the time on my sport bikes and stuff with my buddies. And, it was kind of just a game to see how much we can get away with it,
And this was in Florida?
This was all in Florida. Yeah. Back in my early teens, like 18, 19, 20. I ended up getting a few motorcycle accidents. I've been hurt a bunch, and then that was before skydiving. So honestly, it's a good thing I did that first and survived, because when I got into skydiving, it's a lot safer than the things I used to do. You know what I mean? Sure.
Now, I got to ask, because Florida is becoming world famous for some pretty crazy shit. So just, running from the cops on motorcycles seems to be pretty normal for Florida.
It's very normal for Florida.
I mean, fucking hell.
Bay Area.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you see everything that's going on, and Florida always tops the news for some of the craziest shit I've ever seen in the United States.
Like bath salts and zombies and shit.
Yeah, man.
Remember that news line?
Oh yeah, the zombie attacks and then the alligators. What was that? They had the 17-foot alligator walking across the green at some golf course, and just the
Did you hear about that kid who they took their kid to Disney World and their kid got eaten by an alligator at Disney World?
I mean, how fucked is that?
That's so fucked.
How fucked is that?
The happiest place. Huh?
I mean, you take your kid to the greatest place on earth, one of which is don't they still have the island that's the pirate island, like with Peter Pan and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think they do.
So a kid actually got eaten by a fucking alligator where Peter Pan lives.
It's just so fucked up, man. Like the fact that you can take your kid to the happiest place on earth and he gets eaten by a gator is pretty fucked up.
Right?
But that's Florida. you know?
I mean, that's seriously intense. I mean, one has to wonder if they didn't think, maybe we should make sure there aren't any fucking gators in this water. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
just snatch your kid right out of the lake, man.
Wow. I mean, that's intense. Well, there was the one YouTube video that was going around for a while, or probably ended up on Facebook as well, of the little girl sitting on the railing and the sea lion snatches her off the railing and yanks her into the water. So imagine that was just a sea lion with a fucked up sense of humor, but that gator was out for food.
That gator was hungry, man. Speaking of like gators, I actually used to ride motorcycles with this guy, and I just remember I was at my union hall one morning, like drinking coffee, reading the newspaper, and it said like man got like snatched by an alligator while running from the cops, and it just so happened that I knew this guy, but like they knocked on his door. And he ran out the back door and through the swamp in his backyard, and a gator snatched him and took his arm off.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not even joking, man. You can't make this shit up.
No, you can't. I mean, it's funny because with all the craziness that goes on that I've heard of over the years in Florida, skydiving never even makes the radar. Like
It never makes the radar.
That's some pedestrian normal shit in Florida. Like that's nothing even remotely crazy.
Yeah, dude, that skydiving is soft core. You know, they only like to bug us when there's like a fatality or a serious accident.
Sure. Well, now, so you got started on the motorcycles and doing a bunch of crazy shit that way and running from the cops. How much time did you end up spending in jail for shit like that?
You know, it's so funny. Like, I've just never been caught. You know, I've always, luckily, I mean, like, I've been around people that have been caught, that have wrecked and smashed. But crazy enough, fortunately, I've always been lucky enough to get away.
Wow.
And it was just, I mean, it's silly. You know, it's like you do a wheelie and run away or whatever. But yeah, and I was just talking about this the other day. I made it to 30, and I've never been to jail, which is
that's good.
Which is pretty cool.
That's good. Yeah, I think I made it to. I want to say I made it to 27 before I ended up getting arrested, and then it was some goofy shit. But that was even a decent run because I was not exactly the smartest kid either.
So yeah, I was like. By far not the smartest kid.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, you did the motorcycle stuff, and then how did you end up finding your way into skydiving? I mean, granted, you were in Florida, which is, extremely popular for jumping.
A hot spot. You know, it's funny because, like, I grew up next to Z Hills, and, like, it took me so many years to realize that I was, like, growing up near, like, this big famous drop zone. But really, it wasn't until I was, like, 24 years old, and it was one of our best friend's 21st birthday. And so a group of us went to go skydiving, and it turned out that my first tandem instructor was such an asshole that I didn't even think twice. I wasn't going to get into skydiving, right? It wasn't even in my mind. He was such a dickhead. Really? And yeah, he was just he ended up getting fired shortly after that, actually. Not because of me, but because other people said the same thing, But the only reason why I even got into it was because they were offering a $99 second tandem. And I was like, whatever, I'll go do that tandem and, we'll run with it.
Sure.
And so I went and did that. And the next tandem instructor I had was like, to this day, he's one of my best friends. Like, he's the first person I see every time I go to Florida.
Nice.
But and it was just like a regular tandem. And it just so happened that this wingsuiter, Joseph Likerman's his name. And he did a flyby unannounced. And I mean, to me, it was the coolest fucking thing ever. But like, my tandem instructor had to take the toggles out of my hand, and he like had to avoid, like he thought he had to avoid it, but really we were safe. He just didn't know it.
Sure.
But we got to the ground. My tandem instructor was super pissed, wanted to fight the guy, and I'm just like, this shit's badass. Like, I definitely want to sign up for this AFF course now. Like, yeah, this is fun.
Like, I don't need to run from the fucking cops anymore. These guys have got it all going on.
Dude, these guys have all going on. It just so happened that like during my AF, like as I was going through AFF too, it was Scott Callentine was hosted a boogie called Flock and Dock. It was like the 2014 Flock and Dock, and so like I was an AFF student sitting in the Z Hills bar, just like watching all this tomfoolery going on, and I just was like, man, these are my people for sure. Like I definitely pursue this. Like they were fucking partying so hard.
Now, what year would this have been?
This was 2014.
Okay.
Flock and Dock 2014. And, it's a bunch of wingsuiters, like people. I didn't have any friends then, I was just watching all the shit going on.
Sure.
But
oh, well, dude.
it was definitely a really cool time.
A drop zone at fucking when the boogie and the party is on is a great place to be a fly on the wall. You don't have to be in the party to have a fucking blast.
Dude, that's right, man. I was just drinking beer watching.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all you need to do, man. It is a stage show that's just, never ending, running in front of you for as long as the boogie's going on. Now, I wanted to ask, you're probably one of the first people I've actually talked to that had a negative experience with their first jump because of the instructor. What was this guy's problem?
Crazy? I don't really know, and I don't even really remember the guy that much, but he just it just seemed like he was one of those instructors that were burnt out. You know how it is.
Sure.
Like some people, they try to pursue a life in skydiving and they realize that it's not really a hobby anymore. It's not fun anymore. So, they just day on after day, they just throw drugs and they, end up hating their life ultimately. But
Sure.
he was, he didn't have his smile on that day for sure. He was definitely an asshole. And the sport doesn't really need that,
No, it doesn't. Well, I've talked about it before on the podcast. There were a few times in my career when I was, chucking drogs all the time that the jumps were more for the staff than for the students for opposite reasons. We were having so goddamn much fun doing what we did that the student was just kind of an afterthought instead of the focus. Right. And I look back on those times and wonder how many students I sent away thinking that would have been fun if my instructor had been this or that or the other. And I always felt bad about it. I don't think I ever showed up to work and was a dick to my students, but I was certainly not attentive through a few of those times. And I'm really glad I got past that because obviously we want lots more skydivers to come play. Yeah. And you almost didn't become a skydiver because of one experience.
Yeah, exactly. I just remember he let me, he gave me the toggles, here, this is how you do a right turn and a left turn. And I was just barely hitting the toggle because I was a little nervous Nelly. And he just took the toggles out of me. He's like, just give them to me.
Jesus.
You don't get it.
Jesus Christ. And he probably wanted to bury a toggle so he could make it to the next load.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. In hindsight, looking back on it, with my experience now, I'm like, that's probably what it was.
Sure. Sure. Well,
and I get it. He has a bad day.
So you finish that second jump and you watch your tandem instructor ready to brawl with a wingsuiter and decide this shit is for me. So I think I've got your theme. I think I'm starting to see a pattern here. And then you start going through AFF during this boogie. But when did you know you were just fucking hooked?
Honestly, it was a struggle. I was just getting into my career. I am now, so I was pretty rock bottom. It took me a solid 7 months to finish my AFF.
Sure.
And but after the second or third AFF jump, it was just the release at the end of the jump was just so intense.
Sure.
That I just knew that was for me, and I was also looking for a change of pace. And by that time, I've been in 4 motorcycle accidents, so I wanted something else that was more sustainable.
Sure.
And as soon as I started hanging out with the people at the drop zone, for the first time in my life, I actually felt like I was at home,
Awesome.
And that's really what got me hooked was the people more than anything, because you can jump for 60 seconds, but you'll hang out with those people for the rest of your life, dude.
Oh, no doubt. Well, and I think that's been the biggest theme throughout the entire podcast is everybody always comes back to the fact that it's the community and the skydivers that draw it. I was a bit like you in that I was quite nervous getting into the sport. I had a spot on the highway that I could turn around at and go home without jumping and feel good about myself. But if I drove past that spot, I had to go to the drop zone because it's just one of those things. Those nerves that build up and build up and build up, and of course you land from that jump and you feel like a fucking $1 million. But it seems to me, and I don't know if it was for you, but my memory seemed to be so short. That, only a week would go by and I'd go out to make another jump and forget how amazing that felt and would wonder why the fuck I was going back to the drop zone. But I had started making those friendships and now I'm like, I like these people. I don't want them to think I'm a fucking pussy.
Dude, I know, right? I
Right?
don't want to be a fucking pussy, dude.
Exactly, which is that whole fucking terrible toxic male bullshit they're all talking about.
That
Totally
ego
guilty.
shit.
Yeah, totally fucking guilty of that shit. But then
Oh, shit.
eventually, of course, you get past that and realize you actually are learning what you're doing, and then the community is there even more. So it just becomes amazing.
And you'll realize that most people don't. Like, at the end of the day, they don't give a shit what you have or what you do or what you can do.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're having fun, that's all that really
Sure.
matters.
Well, and when you first started out, I think you just assume you're the only person that's nervous or the only person that gets scared. And then, of course, you get a few years under your belt and realize every single person on the drop zone has shit their pants at least once in the sport.
Oh, hell yeah. I still get scared sometimes.
Damn
you know?
right. It's a survival instinct. I mean, come on. What we do is kind of crazy. You know, it's especially, and I don't know, we'll get to this too, but lately people have had so much downtime because of the lockdowns and everything that there's a lot of people super uncurrent. And when I get uncurrent, I get nervous.
Same. Like, if I get on current, like when I work like my real job, you know, I'll work 7 days, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for like 2-3 months at a time sometimes, you know. So like I'll go back to skydiving right away after that. But like those first few jumps are always nerve wracking.
Sure.
You know, I gotta go land a sub 100 and I might have to land it off the DZ somewhere.
Right. Well, now, so
yeah.
you're doing these contract jobs that have you away for a couple of months and back. So it sounds like it's kind of the perfect job to have if you want to be able to bounce around and do a bunch of skydiving.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I love about my real job is that it's got me like exposed to so many drop zones, and I meet so many people. It's like I can't go to one boogie where I don't know somebody, you know.
Isn't that
so
awesome?
it's the shit, man. Like I got the coolest friends in the world, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That list keeps getting bigger, you know. Just like this weekend, I freaking met so many people, you know, that like I've seen on Facebook over the years, but you know, now I'm talking with them and hanging out with them.
Right. Now, so we might as well get into it. You just went to an event. Which boogie was it?
Well, it was Shred Fest Volume 1 is what they called it at Cleveland Skydiving Center.
Okay.
And it was just, I mean, obviously, as you know, like with COVID, like drop zones have been hurting. There hasn't been many events. So, I mean, we had a really big turnout because people were just like, they've been bottled up and they want to go do something. So we actually had a huge turnout of like some amazing talent.
Nice.
Some serious wingsuit talent and some canopy pilots that were just out of this world, you know?
How did the drop zone handle the precautions for COVID?
Well, they did a really good job. They actually got so we have a clubhouse with bathrooms and stuff, but they actually rented this really nice semi truck trailer that has like showers and bathrooms in it, and they're really nice actually. They weren't like shitty ones. They were actually like marble freaking countertops and shit. Yeah, they did that. We were trying to maintain social distance as best we could, you know, so, as much as you can with like 300 people.
Right. Well, so I've not been to any events since all this came down, and I kind of just, you know, I'm doing more work than anything else. But I always had this funny mental image of any of the events that are going on now that it's just 300 naked people with masks on.
Oh, it's crazy.
That's kind of what I picture, is that there's a whole lot of drinking and a whole bunch of other substances, but everybody's got their masks on, but they're swapping everything else they possibly can.
Right. It's like going to the wind tunnel, you know, it's just a tube full of spit and sweat.
Yeah, man. I mean,
you're just sweating together all day, sitting on an airplane together. You know, it's really hard to get away from it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're younger than me, so you probably wouldn't remember, but I grew up in the age when AIDS was just really hitting, and so everybody was always like, fuck, I don't want to get that test. I'm nervous. I did this or that. And before they really knew what was fucking going on. And so everybody was freaked the fuck out. And I kind of imagine that's got to be what you're walking away from a big event like that going, fuck, man, I don't want to go get tested.
You know, for sure. And it's, for me, I mean, it's not that I, like I do respect the fact that we have to be cautious for sure. It's like for my normal job, like I work these big construction sites with thousands of people. So it's like, as much as I want to worry, it's like, it's so futile for me to worry that hard because like I'm going to be exposed to a multitude of people, whether it's at the drop zone or, whether it's out my job trying to make a few bucks,
Sure. Well, I
But
think it's just a matter
yeah,
of
I mean,
trying to
I
be
do.
as cautious as possible, right?
Yeah, you have to be as cautious as possible. I definitely wash my hands a lot. I take a lot of showers.
Sure, sure.
Shower a couple times a day.
Now, how do you feel about the USPA announcing canceling the Nationals?
Yeah, I'm not too stoked about that. I'm really big into canopy piloting, and like this year was my year to try to like get ready for competition,
Mm.
and all that kind of fell through with this. So I mean, I'm not particularly happy about it, mainly because it's such a manageable event compared to the caliber of other events that are actually going on.
Mm.
I feel like it's more just like the USP, like they, like people just don't want to try to find a solution.
Sure.
But
I mean, my
but
opinion was
it is.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm saying it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like we can minimize the risk some more. Like 2020, it's kind of already a wash up, dude. So we can try again next year.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, fuck. Did you see that NASA just announced that there's 2 asteroids on the way to possibly hitting the planet right before Election Day? I'm like,
Are you kidding?
no, I'm not kidding.
Oh my God. No, I live under a rock. I don't actually watch the news at all because I'm just scared to.
Well, you might be under a rock if these fucking asteroids hit. Dude, it's
Oh,
insane.
man. Actually, as a matter of fact, after this podcast, I will definitely go check that out.
Dude, man, 2020 is just the most bizarre goddamn year. I'll tell you what. When it comes to the Nationals, I wasn't sure which way I felt about it because drop zones are operating, being as safe as they can, but ultimately my opinion was that I thought it was a good thing that they canceled it for basically one main reason. Skydivers and skydiving already fight to keep our reputation up. I mean, the general public already thinks we're fucking crazy, and we're always
Oh, yeah.
fighting airports for access and all this kind of stuff. And so if the USPA endorsed a big event, that's just one more thing that makes us look shitty. So
Yeah.
I think that was the linchpin for me was, okay, yeah, they could probably do it safely and this and that. But when the drop zone decided they didn't want to host it, and then USPA decided to back that and cancel, I'm like, even if for nothing else, just for the image of skydivers, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, Dean, I never really thought about it like that, but now that you say that, I can get on board with that too.
Yeah, I mean, and I see it both ways. I just think
I do.
we're already fighting an uphill battle and have been for so long. I mean, like look at the Sturgis event that just went on. And now they're tracking cases all over for Sturgis. Now, granted, Sturgis and the Nationals are 2 completely different events. But
for sure.
That didn't exactly do anything to make the Sturgis crowd look any better. So in that respect, I think it was a good thing that they did that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, one of our main supporters, you know what I mean? Like they generate a lot more publicity than just a single drop zone, Like if they're saying that we shouldn't host it, I think it would make us look better. Because you're a lot of people and a lot of entities. Like you either love skydivers or you hate skydivers.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, or they just don't, or they're not even on your radar. So most people don't really think too much about skydiving at all. So whatever they hear on the news is what they're going to believe. And if they hear, of course they hear about a fatality, and if that's all they know, they're like, oh, fucking crazy skydiver, somebody went and got himself killed. Or
Right.
if it's, somebody announcing they had this big event and now a shitload of people are sick, it's going to be, dumb sky. Well, they jump out of airplanes. Of course, they're not going to be careful. So
Right.
So in that respect, I think it was a good idea. It is a super big bummer, though, for all the people like yourself that were, ramping up for being able to go out and compete.
But at the end of the day, it's not gonna. I mean, it's a small loss in comparison to everything else that the sport had. Every other hit that the sport had to take.
Right.
Like we've already had a lot of losses this year in terms of like revenue and drop zones being open and boogies going on. Like, what's another little event? FLCPA is just a speck on the radar. You know.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, I just saw one of the shittiest things come across my feed on Facebook was I believe it's Skydive Talpo is closing their doors.
Oh, really?
And that fucking floors me because Taupo, it's a world famous drop zone. That place has been going balls to the walls forever. And they had a picture of the Maori designed pink wing of the Pac 750 with an announcement saying they're closing their doors due to COVID.
That is so sad to hear, man.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, well,
and that might be one of many losses, you know?
oh, I think it's going to be one of many, and that's a big drop zone though. So that makes me nervous for the small drop zones because at the end of the day, most drop zones are kind of hand to mouth. It's, unless you've got a big military contract, I can't imagine that there's a huge profit margin at most drop zones.
Right. Some of these drop zones have expensive turbines just sitting there.
Yeah.
They are not cheap.
No.
They are not cheap.
No, not at all. I mean, imagine you signed a year lease on a caravan or something with minimum hours, just in time for the year to kick off, and now it's parked.
Now it's parked, not making any money,
I mean, fuck me.
It's sad.
Yeah, that's hardcore. That's hardcore, and of course, a lot of skydivers were skydivers. That's it. I mean, for me, I'm a longtime pilot, but I'm primarily a jump pilot. So for me to go out and get a different kind of flying job is difficult. But if you're just a skydiver, if you started jumping very young and that's your primary job, man, you're not qualified to do a whole lot else.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you. That's and that's where it's gonna. The sport's going to evolve around that. Although things may change and drop zones may close. They're going to have to adapt and possibly start traveling and moving down the road to try to go to a different drop zone.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all about getting comfortable.
Well, that was always the huge benefit when I was jumping full time. Was you always had a job. There was a drop zone somewhere in the world open and looking. Always. I went from
always for a tandem instructor.
Oh yeah, man, it was great. I decided all of over the course of about a week when I was jumping at Skydance in Davis, California, that I was going to go.
I love the drop zone.
Yeah, man, it's a fucking great drop zone, man. I flew for Ray Farrell, and that's the first drop zone I ever flew a turbine at, the Pac 750.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I flew that hideous blue and yellow one, blue, yellow, and red.
Yeah,
which became my favorite aircraft on the planet. It was ugly before I flew it, and then it was gorgeous.
I love the Pac, actually. I think the Pac is a good airplane.
From a pilot's perspective and from a tandem instructor's perspective, it was fantastic. I know that fun jumpers don't necessarily care for it all that much, but I was always a working skydiver. So for me, it was an amazing aircraft.
And I'm not a lazy skydiver. Like, I'm 6'4", it is kind of a short fuselage, or not very tall person friendly. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really bother me. The plane's quick.
Yeah,
it gets the altitude, and that's all I need.
Yeah, man. No, it does the job, and it does it well. But yeah, I flew for Ray, and within about a week, I had decided because I was talking to a buddy that I ended up going and working 6-7 months in Fiji. Because there was a
That's
drop.
Cool.
Yeah, there was a drop zone there I could go work at. So I guess I'm disappointed that a lot of the people that are coming up in the sport now might not have that kind of opportunity for a while because the whole world is so upside down right now.
Yeah, there's a large recovery curve that's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
Losses are going to happen, but we'll come back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Skydance, I remember my first time at Skydance.
Oh, yeah?
I was doing a swoop course with TJ Landgren. My best friend and I were, and that's where he was based out of at the time. But
sure.
I just remember I didn't know, I did not get a drop zone briefing when I got there. I just went straight to jumping, and I was when I was under canopy. I was hearing what sounded like my canopy was tearing every couple of seconds. I didn't realize there was a shooting range right next door.
Yeah.
And the echoing from the gunshot would echo off my canopy, and it just sounded horrible, and it freaked me out, man.
Yep. Yeah, that shooting range is right there. And then depending on the time of the year, there was a nesting hawk or a falcon, I don't know which one it was, that hated parachutes. And
are you serious?
Oh, yeah. That fucking bird trashed a lot of parachutes. It would attack skydivers.
It would just attack big parachutes.
Oh yeah, it would just go and shred these poor canopies in flight, of course, and that's as they're coming over the top of a goddamn gun range.
Yeah, dude, that drop zone's not for the weak and the meek, man.
No, man. It was a pretty intense place. It was a great place though, because as far as medium-sized drop zones goes, it got plenty of business, but it had a great core of fun jumpers that were always there and always having a good time, which was amazing.
I didn't get to spend much time there, but I really loved the people that were there that short time I was there.
Yeah, it was good stuff. It was. So now, how'd you get into the canopy stuff?
Well, honestly, I was like one of those really stupid low jump number canopy pilots, like skydivers in general. Like after coming from motorcycles and shit, ultimately, like I stopped riding a lot once I got into skydiving because skydiving just demanded more attention from me.
Sure.
And canopy time was always my toy time, right? So like my motorcycles were always my toy. So like when I would be skydiving, like I've always loved canopy ride the best. The canopy time was my favorite time because it was like I was operating something.
Sure.
And so about 200 jumps is probably when I started just doing stupid hook turns and shit. Like, that typical.
You're one of those guys.
That typical guy, but from the outside in, like if you didn't know who I was, you would just think I'm a reckless idiot.
Sure.
But like in my head, I thought I had everything under control, and knock on wood, I made it this far, and I'm very thankful, and I'm very lucky that I've made it this far.
I mean, it sounds like you were a little on the reckless side, but with a bit of a purpose, and you were smart enough to do canopy courses. I mean, so you weren't that reckless if you're taking courses with TJ.
Right, and that's what I try to preach to everybody. Like, if you want to be stupid and something like canopy piloting, you need to get coaching, and coaching is the only reason why I still have my femurs, I assume.
Yeah.
Like. I was Aaron Stokeham was one of my early canopy instructors, and he was coaching me from the beginning, and he was definitely like a good start. Like he got me on the right path, and ever since like my early jump numbers, I've been avid about canopy coaching. So
I mean, honestly, nowadays I think it should be a prerequisite for anybody, because it's still, for as long as I've been in the sport, the biggest killer has been a perfectly working canopy.
That's right. A third of our deaths is pretty much from that. Low turns and shit, like
it's
things
insane.
that don't need to happen.
Well, I mean, I broke my tailbone being an idiot just because I hadn't jumped my own canopy for probably 6 months and hooked it 6 months later like I'd been on it the day before, and I just wasn't feeling the canopy out. And this is when I had thousands of jumps. So nobody's immune. The canopy courses are an amazing idea. For me, I was lucky in that I had no problem with the free fall because I was a tunnel rat when I got started. But the canopy side of things, I was always super cautious. So I didn't step onto what was considered a high performance canopy until I had over 1,000 jumps.
See, I can respect that. You see a lot of these guys who are like, I wish I would have made the same decision you made. Like I didn't see the tunnel until I had 700 jumps. And like, I was a trash free flyer, and but it's like amazes me. It's like trying to defeat 700 jumps worth of bad habits,
Right.
But then you see these guys who like start early and they become very proficient free flyers, and then they're more valuable in the sport, and they can take their time and not necessarily need to rush canopy piloting because they have other avenues to approach, like coaching or organizing. Right? You can get better very methodically and safely versus the reckless path that I chose.
Sure. Well, and I was only lucky in that I started working so early in the sport that the whole craze to downsize and get the faster high performance canopies didn't matter so much to me because I was too busy landing to get the tandem landing shot to run in to grab my rig to do it again and then edit all the videos at the end of the day. So I wasn't thinking about setup for this hook turn or that hook turn, and it wasn't fun jump to fun jump for me. It was work jump to work jump. So it took a lot longer. The only reason that I ever downsized at all was because I started shooting tandem videos flying a PD 190, and I was having to work to beat the tandem to the ground.
At the end of the day, I feel like that's just along the lines of just enjoying the ride.
Sure.
Like skydiving doesn't need to be. There's no mission that you need to obtain.
Sure.
There's no end goal, right? Like it just never ends, right? So rushing to get somewhere is, in my opinion, looking back on it, like I feel like that's not the right way to approach skydiving. I think you should just enjoy the ride, not feel like any skydive was a waste of time or a waste of money.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, and
Just have fun.
For me, the biggest freedom came when I finally realized I'm not going to be big in competition. I'm never going to be the best canopy pilot. I'm never going to be the best free flyer. I'm never going to be the best
Yep.
anything in skydiving. And that took this huge amount of pressure to perform. I'm happy to be the guy that fucks up the skydive as long as everybody had fun.
Right, same here, man. I'm just a beer line swooper at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to win competitions. Like, I mean, for a swoop comp for me, I just want to go and just to swoop with other people. You know, I
Sure.
could score all zeros and I'll have fun.
Oh, sure. Some of the funnest canopy times that I had was we used to have, I think it was Tuesday morning swoop club at Skydive Cross Keys, and everyone would wake
Oh.
up with the sun and hop in the 206, and we would jump our asses off until open a business at, I think, like 10 or 11 o'clock. So everybody's going up and swooping the pond, and you'd get a crowd that would come out. Like people would come out on their days off and start day drinking to watch us, frapping in or trying to go dirt across the pond. And it was a great, fun way to learn, but that was like the apex of my swooping career.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've done Tuesday Swoop Club at Cross Keys.
Awesome.
I
It's
love
awesome,
Cross
right?
Keys. I love Cross Keys.
Oh, dude, I did Cross Keys end of 03 through to beginning of 06, and it was some of the most amazing times I kind of remember.
That's the old John Edos, Rob Stanley days, isn't it?
Yeah, man. So I was working with Stanley, and Edos was running the place. Dave Pancake still the manager. Range was still there, and all the usual suspects. Danny Kuhn was shooting video. Steve Werner. I mean, just this amazing crew of people. Kim Worthington was doing AFF. Steven Jackson doing tandems, and we were all living on the drop zone as well. So it was all these insanely talented skydivers at the party phase of their lives at the biggest party drop zone on the planet, and fuck me.
Dude, I hear so many good stories about Cross Keys, man. I've spent a few seasons ever since I found Cross Keys on a random Tuesday one time. I was working like every day at this power plant, Maryland, and I was like, I'm taking tomorrow off. I don't give a shit. And so I Googled the nearest drop zones. It was a tie between Orange, Skydive Orange, which I've spent a lot of time at,
Sure.
and Cross Keys. And I went there, and like I've never looked back, man. Pico and Nadia, the new owners of that drop zone, like they do everything they can to make their fun jumpers happy.
Well, and I've heard they've done an amazing job. I've not been back since I left in 06. And it went through this amazing time when I was there. I kind of got the last couple of holy shit years. And there were one or two more to follow, but it was that joy and tragedy mix, because for every good thing we had something bad. Like we had a number of fatalities throughout the years that I was there, and some pretty gnarly situations. And I know it went downhill after I left. So it's so amazing for me to hear that it's come back and people are super stoked to be there and having a good time again. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, that drop zone's killing it. Pico and Nadia has done such a good job at running that drop zone, man. Like they got one of the fastest jump planes I've ever jumped out of there.
Nice.
Yeah, old Texas Turbine.
It's the Turbine Caravan, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was such a fun drop zone, and not to mention it's just a cool chunk of airspace to be flying in, because you got the Philly approach corridor, so there's jets everywhere. Which I always thought was hilarious. I mean, I was actually close enough to a 7.5 doing a tandem once that I could read the tail numbers of the damn thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So did you ever see the video of Rob Stanley?
Yes, I have seen the video of Rob Stanley where it comes by and like he's like, "Did you just see that?"
Yeah,
shit?
man. Yeah, I actually submitted that video. Have you seen the Facebook group, the Aussie Man Reviews?
I have not. I should check out.
Yeah, so there's this Aussie Man Reviews. It's just this great guy, Australian guy that does voiceovers for all this different shit, and he has one recurring one that's called Destination Fucked. And I sent in that video, and he picked it and did a voiceover for it and everything. Oh, it was fucking hilarious.
Dude, that's a killer video.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fantastic. I mean, holy shit. Because you would talk to Stanley, and he'd tell you that they felt the heat off the jet. Because if you watch the video, it's 2 seconds to dead level. That jet flies directly under them, and on a 2 count, it's dead level with them.
I know, dude. That is probably one of the most intense skydiving videos I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah. The other really
Like
funny
that would
story.
have been a serious tragedy.
Oh yeah. Well, the other really funny story that I heard out of Cross Keys, and I don't know if this one's true or not, but the joke or the story was that somebody actually called Manifest at the drop zone, and it was a pilot that knew the operation and called to tell them to tell the guy in the yellow jumpsuit that his sit fly looked good.
I
Like,
don't know if that's true or not, but that sounds amazing.
that's a great story, right?
Oh my God, yeah, it is. I want to be the guy in the yellow jumpsuit.
Right? Yep, I know it. I know it. Well, and it was so cool back then because we were jumping the helicopter and doing all these crazy things and just having a really good time with it. And so I'm always happy to hear that Cross Keys is up and running happy again. And of course, you hop on Facebook and you still see Range out there cranking them out and Pancakes doing the gig and.
Yeah, Pancake is still my rigger to this day. I'm not there anymore, much these days, but I still send my shit to Pancake.
Oh, he's
That's
awesome.
my rigger.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I had he was the staff manager when I got there. He was the chief instructor, and I think it was probably the second or third day I was there, and they were having a party at the Tiki Bar. And I knew nobody, and I had no idea what was going on. And I walk out, and Pancake late in the night was hanging from the rafters upside down in the Tiki Bar in his underwear. And I'm just looking at him going, "That's my fucking boss."
That's my dude right there.
Yeah,
it's funny because like nowadays, like Pancake's a lot more mature, and obviously he's older now. So it's like I've never known Pancake as that guy.
All right. Oh well, it's funny because that version of Pancake didn't come out very often, but holy shit when it did.
Oh my God.
I think it was just Cross Keys back then.
Yeah, Cross Keys used to be that's like my second favorite. It used to be my favorite drop zone, but ever since I found Cleveland Skydiving Center, man.
Nice.
This little drop zone has so much potential, and it's ran by oh my God, she's the best EZO I've ever seen.
And who is this?
Marcy Ann. I don't know if you ever heard of Marcy Smith, Marcy and Logan.
No, not. I mean, we may have crossed paths across the way, but give them a good plug. Tell everybody all about it.
Yeah, I actually I found this place when COVID hit. So I was working a job in Toledo, just an oil refinery for like 2 months. And once that job was over with, I had nowhere to go because all the state lines were closed and shit. So I ended up moving to Eastern Ohio on my buddy's farm that I happened to meet on that job. So he's just some old timer who said, "You can come live on my farm until shit boils over." And so I ended up moving to that farm and living in a camper that was parked on his property. And I ended up just buying that camper from him because I needed a place to live. So I needed a reserve repack. I was actually on my way to Utah to go get to go start speed flying, get my P2. Like I have nothing but time now and there's nothing going on. So I was just going to get a reserve repack and leave. So when I Googled the nearest drop zone, it was Cleveland. And Marcy answered the phone and was like, "I'll just come to your house and pick up your rig. And then you can come get it when it's done." So she showed up the next day, came and picked up my rig. I think she was just feeling me out to see what kind of a person I was, right? And like a couple days later, I show up at this drop zone, and I ended up hanging out with some beer and pizza that night to go get my rig. And they just started feeding this unlimited jump package down my throat. And I was like, maybe I'll sit here and do a couple of jumps when the season opens up, and I might stick around. And I ended up doing a couple of jumps, and right away I bought that unlimited jump package.
Awesome.
And I moved my trailer there, and I've been stuck there for 5 months. Like I try to find a good reason to leave, and I can't find a good reason to leave.
See, but that's awesome though, especially with a package like that. I mean, one of the old drop zones that I worked at, Chicagoland Skydiving, had that package as well. And people weren't just coming from around the country; people were coming from around the world to buy that package. Because they were, trying to get 1,000 jumps in the season or 500 jumps in the season. And holy shit, what a great way to do it! You just manifest and get on the plane.
Yeah, this is like Ohio's best kept secret. Like Marcy, this is her first year with this has always been like a Cessna 206 drop zone, right? And the venue's amazing. It's a huge landing area, like so much potential, but it's always been a Cessna drop zone. So Marcy took over just a couple of years ago. This is her first year with a turbine. She got a Kodiak Quest. And for her first year, and she has been killing it this year so hard, man. She cares about her fun jumpers so much. that you know, she does everything she can to accommodate me, you know,
Well,
and
hell, she came and picked up your rig for you.
that's the kind of person she is, and she'll do that for any jumper at her drop zone, you
That's
know.
some pimp ass concierge shit right there. That's
Right?
awesome, man.
Dude, I know she's amazing, man. So she ended up taking me in, and like I'm just now I care about the drop zone like it's like my house, you know.
Nice.
So like I've been flying video for her a bunch, and you know, like I've been having such a good time, and the fun jumpers that are there, like their core group of jumpers, it's just, I mean, it feels like a giant drop zone, but it's like a real like good, you know, like SNE kind of vibe, you know, skydiving
sure.
England kind of vibe. It's just really down to earth. They got big bonfires every night.
See, that's
It's
the thing, right? I mean, that's the one drawback to some of the bigger drop zones is that doesn't seem to happen as much as it does with the smaller, tight-knit drop zones.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
doesn't happen anymore, you know, like Z Hills isn't even necessarily like that anymore.
yeah, I mean, I guess there's part of it that when it crosses over into, you know, a hardcore business, especially with some of those big airports, you know, they're really limited with what they can do.
What they can do, yeah, exactly. You know, and that's what a lot of drop zones face these days. You know, what's good about Cleveland is it's privately owned by Bob Gates, and Marcy runs the drop zone off of the property. You know, but it's in the middle of Amish country. There is nothing around, and what's really cool about that is like on the weekends you'll have like hundreds of Amish people riding their horse and buggies to the drop zone to watch us skydive all day.
No shit.
I'm not even joking, dude. There would be like, I mean, like we should have bleachers for these guys. There's so many of them.
Oh,
And
no.
yeah, they just crowd all around the drop. They just sit and set up picnics, and they cook their food, you know.
That would be so strange.
Dude,
Because
it's crazy. Like imagine like a whole load of naked people landing in front of these Amish people. They're just like they love us to death, man. They'll
they
do
have
anything.
to, because you guys are absolutely everything they can't or won't do.
Right, and which is cool. There's a fun jumper on this drop zone. His name's Mo Troyer, and he grew up Amish on that drop zone, watching Aaron Stokeham swoop the shit out of this drop zone, and he quickly converted. He stopped being an Amish person to, you know, just become an American and like live with technology, and now he's like he's a badass skydiver, man.
What do they call it when the Amish let him loose? Is that rumspringa?
Rumspringen, that's what it's called.
Yeah, so when they just let him go loose, all right, go out into the world and take every drug you can think of and fuck everything that walks, and then if you come back,
Dude.
you're ours.
Dude, that's what they do, right? So you'll have rumspringers come to our bonfires in the middle of the night.
Oh.
And just show up, and it's like, who the hell are these people? You know what I mean? But they're just Amish people trying to party all the time.
That's gotta be so bizarre. Oh.
Dude, it's so bizarre. I'm telling you, like this drop zone is so badass, dude. It's like if you haven't seen it, like you'll see it there, you know.
Awesome. And now, do you know the website offhand for the drop zone? Let's get them some PR.
Yeah, it's CLEskydiving.com.
All right, awesome. I mean, this sounds like something people definitely have got to check out.
Yeah, this is this is definitely something that people should check out, man.
Nice.
It is such an amazing place.
Nice.
And actually, I think I got that wrong. I believe it's it's skydivecele.com. Yep, that's what it is.
All right, skydivecele.com. Awesome. I'm gonna have to pull that up. I got to see this. They got to.
So I just found out yesterday that we have our own Farmer McNasty, actually.
Oh, really?
Well, not yesterday, but this weekend. So the very first skydive of this boogie, I get Raymond Adams is on the jump. It's a kick-ass freaking jump, and I ended up having a broken line on my Airwolf 84.
Oof.
And it was just unlandable. Like I didn't want to die, so I chopped it, and it landed like literally like right across the street from the drop zone. Like you could see it from the parking lot.
Right.
And this lady just came out screaming and yelling at us and would not allow us to go. I had to get the sheriffs involved, and I was dealing with the sheriffs and trying to recover that canopy for like 6 hours.
Oh, that's such a shame when shit like that happens.
Yeah, it was terrible, man. Like she came out like a wild swamp pig, man. She was such a bitch.
Now,
like,
does she have ongoing problems with the drop zone, or was this just a one-off?
So she had a problem with the same similar thing happening at I suppose it was last year, right? So she's only lived there for 2 years. This drop zone's been there. Like there has been skydive operations out of there since like it's one of the oldest drop zones in the country apparently. And but she just moved in about 2 years ago, so I think she had a similar issue last year, but I didn't know about it, you know. And this year was just one off. Like we haven't bugged her at all, you know. We're very respectful, and we were respectful coming up to her. She just literally would not hear a single word I had to say.
Oh man, that's a shame. I mean, for Christ's sakes. That's what you'd rather I just rode this piece of shit down and got myself killed instead of it accidentally landed on your property. Come on,
dude. I know, and even the cop, like you know how like the people, you know, if you don't skydive, you don't really know. But the cop was like, well, "Did you do it on purpose?" I'm like, yeah. The last thing I wanted to do was lose my $3,000 parachute across the street.
Exactly. Yes, I intentionally threw my parachute on her property from 3,000 feet. Fucking people. Oh man, I don't get it. I don't get it. Now when I pull up,
almost got the boogie shut down. She called the health department on us. The cops showed up and like they almost got this boogie shut down because of me, man. I was not happy about it. Like we had to like there were tents and campers everywhere for this event, right? And the health department came up and did not like it. And like by 10 o'clock, we had to have all the trailers out of there. So we just started hiding trailers down the runway. We were hiding trailers in the woods and pulling out. And then like after they left, we just came right back.
Oh, well, hey, I mean, come on, you got to do what you got to do. But it's such strange times. I mean, because normally there'd be not much for her to do, but with all this COVID shit, it's pretty easy to just go, hey, these people are doing stuff.
Oh, yeah, they're having fun. Get them.
That's a shame. Well, I mean, it's some weird times. People are all on edge with everything going on.
I know, everybody's on edge right now. You know, and I get it. I understand. Like, for me, 2020 hasn't been that bad, but I understand for some people, you know, 2020 has been a really shitty year for them. So
yeah, for sure.
I try to have empathy for that, you know.
For sure. So now when I pull up this website, am I going to see pictures of Amish people getting swooped? Because if not...
Probably not. But I'm sure you could definitely see some video of Amish people getting swooped for sure.
They need to have a whole section on their website dedicated to the Amish.
Right. Yeah, if you go to that website, you'll see the dude with the mullet on there, and that's the drop zone owner's boyfriend. Actually, he manages the place.
Awesome. That's awesome. So now you're doing the canopy stuff, and you said you do free fly coaching as well. Now how'd that get? How'd that get started?
So honestly, like I've never been that good until I started in the tunnel. Once I got in the tunnel, I became a tunnel rat. Right, I got addicted very quickly. And it's not that I have I'm not like a, you know, you could definitely pay a coach to get you better coaching than me, but I got you know, a little over 70, 80 hours in the tunnel, and I tend to my target focus is like more entry level SIP flyers and head down flyers, you know. So I got into that just by going to drop zones and just going on a load and coaching people. Like I've never asked for money or for anybody to cover my slot, especially with this unlimited jump package. I've gotten a lot of the kids there on their feet, you know, and it's nothing to me to just go on their jump. And
well, that's kind of paying it forward, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we want more badass skydivers.
That's what I want, man. I want to be able to shred with my friends, you know. I don't want them to have to spend $35 plus a slot for 40 seconds of maybe coaching, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
In my mindset, what's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My mindset is just I fly in the tunnel for myself and I skydive to have fun. Like I don't give a shit how the skydive goes. Well, you know, because everyone's always, you know, when they jump with a more experienced person, they're just like, I don't want to mess the jump up, you know, and I hate that people have to have that mindset. Like, I don't want you to feel like you're going to mess this jump up because you're not good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that was always one of the things I used to have fun with is I didn't really become a fun jumper until after I'd stopped working in the sport because I worked in it for so damn long. And I always thought it was hilarious to walk up to a group that would, hey, come with us because they know I've got 11, 12,000 jumps and I'd be the one in the dirt dive going, I'm most likely going to be the one that's going to fuck this skydive up. just so everybody knows, if there's not a drogue or wings under my arms, chances are I'm not your guy. So let's go have some fun.
I'm not your guy.
Yeah. So much fun, though. Again, it takes all the pressure off, and I just get to go out and screw around and have fun. And obviously, I want to do good, but I'm never worried about whether or not I'm going to screw up the skydive because I put that out there at the beginning. Goes, I might have this many jumps, but I've got less fun jumps than most B-licensed skydivers.
Right, you hear that from a lot of tandem instructors. Like, yeah, I got 5,000 jumps, but you have more. You actually have more fun jumps than I have. And
oh, yeah.
Like, it's crazy to hear that.
Oh, dude, I've probably got, I don't know, between 11 and 12,000 jumps, and I've probably got less than 800 fun jumps.
Really?
Yeah, they were all work jumps, you know. I mean, and that's kind of where it's a little bit misleading to say that because I loved being a tandem instructor.
They're all fun.
Yeah. I had a blast being a tandem instructor. I loved being a camera flyer because it was super challenging. So I loved everything that I did. And I was lucky that I was one of those tandem instructors that didn't get burned out in that way. You know, I didn't get burned out because I didn't like the jumping anymore. I got burned out because I didn't like the politics maybe, or I beat the shit out of myself. You know, I mean, after too many tandems, you start getting a little sore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, you know, it was always a blast. So I say I only have that many fun jumps, but they were all fun.
They are all fun, yeah. And especially, I mean, like, especially with the video jumps, you know, like I even consider my video jumps fun, you know. I don't have a ton of them. I just started getting really heavy into free video flying over the last year or so. But like, I think when I get to fly my own parachute, I'm having a shitload of fun. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I love filming tandems, man. I love sharing that experience with people. You know, it's I just enjoy on their face with their bucket list day or whatever. You know, like they're having so much fun, and you kind of live like vicariously through them.
Well, you feed off of that energy. You just get to absolutely. I mean, after a
so tasty.
Oh, yeah, man. After a good day of doing tandems and you're watching these people just having the most intense experience of their lives, and you can't help but pat yourself on the back and go, fuck, I did that.
That's right.
You know, I gave them, and yeah, maybe somebody else could have, but they didn't. I did. And it just becomes this really, really cool thing. And most of them will never remember my name. Most of them wouldn't remember what I look like to save their lives, but every one of them remembers their skydive.
Oh, that's right, man.
Yeah.
They'll just remember. Sometimes they just remember that they only skydive. They can't really recall what happened on the skydive.
Yeah, that's it. But
it's because it's so intense.
Yeah, even if it was the most overloading experience. Yeah, there was this time I jumped out of an airplane, but I don't fucking remember any of it because it was so intense. Well, I still got to do that. So
yeah, it's kind of like you kind of remember like the first time you were able to just jump out and watch other groups jump out of the plane after you, right? Like that spatial awareness that takes ever to get.
Oh, I'll never forget that. I mean, you've got the iconic jumps. Your first jump, the first time you jump solo, the first time you jump your own pack job. You know, you remember all of those. But I mean, I vividly remember the first time I was out there by myself. No instructor, no nothing, just doing slow circles going, holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
You know, and that never really wore off. I had that holy shit attitude the entire time I was jumping, and I still jump, and I still get that. I'm like, I can't believe people let me do this.
Same, dude. Like I'm, you know, like I don't have like work jumps necessarily. I got 1,300 fun jumps, you know, and it's like I still have so much fucking fun, dude. Like this shit, like it's better than working.
Damn right.
Like, not a job.
Damn right. It might be hard, but it's a labor of love for sure.
It's a labor of love, man. I love skydiving so much.
So now for the low time jumpers that are looking for a little bit of fun and coaching and they're in your area, how do they find you so they can reach out and say, hey, how can I come out and play?
Yeah, they can always hit me up on Facebook, really. That's like my main channel of communication. If they just want to look up William Joseph Lux on Facebook, they'll be able to find my goofy mug on there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm always welcome to new faces. I don't care who you are. Just hit me up.
Awesome. Now, one more time, give us the drop zone so they can check it out.
Yep. It's Cleveland Skydiving Center. If you need the website, definitely skydivecle.com.
Skydive CLE at Cleveland Skydiving Center. Man, William, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk to me. I know you're doing all kinds of shit and jumping and working, and I'm always happy to sit down and talk to happy skydivers that are enjoying themselves.
Yeah, always, anytime, man. Hit me up anytime.
Take care, William.
Hey, you too, Dean. Thanks for talking.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Skydiving with the fucking Amish. That is awesome. At any rate, this was another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, brought to you by the greatest magazine in the known universe, Blue Skies Mag. Head to blueskiesmag.com to subscribe to the magazine. Check out the new shit that's coming their way. Get your photos in, get your article ideas in. They want to hear from you. Also, for advertising, they're where you want to go if you want to reach out to the skydiving community. Also, pussfoot.com. If you don't know what it is, you're going to want to know. It's an awesome collective of a bunch of extreme sports enthusiasts from every walk of extreme sports, giving you a bunch of really cool, insightful information. So check out pussfoot.com. For me, I am The Fucking Pilot. As always, you can find me on thefuckingpilot.net, where you can get both the books that I've written, the Blue Skies book and the Accidental Stripper, both available in print and digital and coming up in audio. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.